My name is Keith Rockwell. I have the privilege of being on the Education and Benefits Committee. Normally, I would have other people with me. Today, it's just myself. But today also is an opportunity for me to do something that I love, because this is what Keith loves to do. Keith loves to talk about health insurance and pensions, and Keith loves to just hang around like a gym rat. So hopefully, over the last 3 CBOs, Conference Benefits Officers, that I've been connected. That's how old I am. I served from 2000 to 2008 and had 2. I returned at 2012 and will finish in 2020. And I had a mixture of both 2 and 3. So hopefully by hanging around with those CBOs that we've had an opportunity to channel some of that information. We begin now with a word of prayer to center our thoughts and minds. Holy and gracious Lord, may the words of my mouth be instrumental to the people here as they put together their thoughts about health insurance. May you discern in their lives what are and will be the best choices. And Lord, use me as an instrument. In Christ's name, amen. Okay, as we settle in, I'm good to know that there are at least 2 fact checkers in the room, the current Board of Pensions Chair and the former Board of Pensions Chair. So I just don't have too much latitude, and I just really have a short leash. So I'll do my best to make everybody, comfortable and to get the best information to you. If I mess up, I'm sure that they'll yank, and then will be helpful to get the right information. You have gotten in your packages the retiree checklist and a whole group of papers. That's going to be helpful as I go over some of the understandings about health insurance once you are retired. Now, I want to try to get a feel of the sense of the room. I did it when Bob, I looked at your hands, and that I understand that in the room I have a couple of people who are not yet 65. I have people who are 65. Do I have anybody who's over 65? Okay, good. The first words I would say to you who are over 65 is that I hope and pray that you have already registered with Medicare for A. You should have already done that. If you've not done that, go home tomorrow and do that, because you are against breaking federal law. So that's the first thing. So I'll be talking the rest of the time in 2 parallel tracks, those who are under 65 and those who are over 65, because our supplement has those trackings for our health insurance. Okay, the understanding of what we're going to talk about begins with this relevant question. My job and vocation in this position is to educate. So I'm going to educate you with a short, pithy sentence. When you retire, whether you're under 65, 65, or over 65, the responsibility for health care is yours. Let me repeat that. The responsibility for health care is yours. Now, we will assist you. We will provide access points for you. But they, at the end of the day, are your choices and your responsibility. Now, if you heard that pithy paragraph, then you'll understand the rest of the presentation, because you will have choices that will abound. But at the end of the day, they're your choices. At the end of the day, they're what works best for you. We will give you resources to help you make those choices. But at the end of the day, they're yours. So that's why we pray for you at the Board of Pensions, because we want you to make the best choices for your situation. I wouldn't know what situations are the best for you. Only you would know. So let's go over the first sheet. Now, just since there's a superintendent in the room, at least for now, and soon to be a retiring superintendent, I will smile at her and say, just like a church or charge conference checklist, we have provided for you a retiree checklist. And on page 1 of that retiree checklist, you see the opportunities of pension. Bob has already covered pension. I'm not going to touch that. You can read that for yourself. I will touch upon Part A, which I've already gone over with you on your 65th birthday, and Part B, your retirement date or your 65th birthday, whichever is the latter. Then the final box is the big box. If you are under 65, you must contact the conference office to work out what you are going to do. Are you going to stay on the conference supported programs, or are you going to go out on your own? By May 31st, you need to make that determination, and you need to call the conference offices. Now, if you remember when I did the traveling tour about active health insurance, I said you could call me. Don't call me this time, because I can't help you. Only the conference office can help you set up your retirement plan as far as health insurance, okay? And you need to have that done by the 31st. Now, I don't know how Marion does it at her district, because I've not served on her. That's a hard deadline.
Oh, yeah.
That's a really hard deadline. You have to do this. So you need to get with your spouse, and you need to get with God in prayer, and you need to accomplish this by the 31st of May. If you are over 65 at retirement and hooking into VIA benefits, you can go until June 30th. But just like Bob, or as I like to love and call him, Mr. Matt, just like Bob, don't wait until June 30th. Do not go until the 30th of June and then go to try to contact VIA benefits, because it will be too complicated and too long of a process. But feel free to begin that process by dialing the 1-866 number listed on your paper. Now, when you do, you are going to spend some quality time with VIA. What do you mean, Keith? I'm going to spend some quality time. If you think this is going to be a 10-minute conversation, it will not be a 10-minute conversation. What you will probably do is you will call first to set up your account, and then they will schedule you a time in which they will call you back. Now, Brad Brown, at one of these workshops that we did, was very plain in telling you what you should do when you receive your second call from VIA benefits, because it will be a long interview. You should have on your kitchen table, on your desk, on your counter, whatever you're going to have near with you, every medication that you have, every medication your spouse has. How many of you have a CPAP machine? Okay, I have one. It's good. And that, you should have all the hardware serial numbers of your CPAP machine. You should have everything in front of you, including your primary care physician now and in the future, because you might be moving in your retirement to a different region of the state or a different community within the state. You should have any specialist you have, What specialist could you have? Well, I'm a person who had cancer. I'm currently Ned. I have an oncologist. I have a hematologist. You should have all that information before you because you will be put through about a 2-hour interview. It's not 10 minutes. And in that 2-hour interview, we'll begin the discernment process about what will happen next with you and your choices that you are going to make. Now, let me go back to those under 65. Oh, okay, absolutely. I love.
Spouse is under 65,
Yes,
but you're over 65.
yes.
She's not doing, the spouse is not doing VIA, am I correct about that?
She is not eligible to do via
Thank
that.
So we have to find other insurance.
Correct.
Jason.
Oh, Jason, go ahead.
Is your spouse currently a participant on the conference policy?
Yeah.
Then she may continue on the conference policy. You would have to pay the full premium.
Right.
So
It
you
would.
have to
It,
decide what you'd like to do.
right. It would just be the rule as if you were under 65 and retiring.
So you're just doing double duty, sir. You're
Well, I've
gonna,
got a dependent also.
so for VIA, you're gonna have to have your 2-hour interview because that's you. You're going on VIA if you are 65 or
Right.
over. But if you are gonna make some choices about a spouse, or in your case, some other, folks, you then call the conference office and still talk about your choices with them, especially if you're intending that they're still gonna stay on our health insurance. So you just have to do things twice,
Thank you.
unfortunately.
Right. And in that case, what would happen for those under 65, whether clergy or spouse? By the way, I don't know your ages, so it's okay to help me in that regard. What you will do is you will call the conference office. And what Michelle and Jason said is true. You will have to pay the entire premium. Not, the church is not going to pay the $14,000 anymore as a credit. You will pay the entire fee. Now, since you volunteered that you have a family and that, you and another dependent, they will have to pay the highest rate of that premium should they stay.
Right. And the premium is 14,000?
No.
No. That's why I was hoping to fish that out.
Yeah.
No,
I
the
think
entire
it's
pre-
1,400.
No, the entire, let me take you back. Let me use me as an example. I'm a participant plus one. If I was to retire tomorrow, I would have to pay $19,600 per year. For a family, it is whatever the conference will give you in that number that you will have to pay.
So here's the thing, friends, we now offer 6 different health plans, and so one of the reasons Keith can't tell you exactly what the premium is each one has a different premium, but the conference can 100% tell you, based off of what your choice of plan is, what the premium is, because it's different for each.
So when I called 2 years ago, that is entirely different now.
100%
Thank
different.
Right.
Yes, good question.
Yeah, a good question, good conversation. So the understanding is that you will call the conference office and you will get your, what they call a full rate, not a composite rate, the full rate. And whatever that number is, it's gonna be. Now, you will be billed quarterly for that rate, whatever it is. The conference office is going to send you a bill.
Except if you're under 65 and you want to deduct it from your pension.
Right. You could do that. I was getting there, but that's okay. The understanding is you can deduct it from your pension if you want to and retiring. That's up to you. If not, you're going to get a bill. Oh, yes.
You've suggested it several times now that we call the conference office. Who do we speak to?
That is an excellent question. And I talked with Jason about that this morning. When you call the conference office, you will get a receptionist, or you will get someone working in the conference office who's answering the phone. At that point, you will identify yourself, and then you will say, I have health benefit questions as a retiree. Instantly, that receptionist will know where to send you. Most likely, they're going to send you to the former chair of the Board of Pensions in his office, and Jason. Now, Jason is not, the chair of the Board of Pensions anymore. He's conference director. He may not always be in his office. He may not always be available. So you need to be that. Remember I told you not to call late? You need to be proactive. Call Jason early, and Jason will return the call, and Jason's dying to say something.
Yeah, we're in a really hard transition. We really miss Kelly. Kelly was wonderful, and she resigned at the end of January. Early February, Andrew resigned as our treasurer, and then last week, effective Wednesday, in fact, Teresa, who's kind of been filling in as benefits officer, has also resigned. So we find ourselves in a cascade of challenges, and for the time being, I'm going to be filling in. We are actively in the search for a new treasurer. We have a number of candidates lined up that we're interviewing, and we're also posting for a controller and a benefits officer. So we're going to have those as soon as possible. Tim with CFNA is leading that charge. So, but it's an all hands on deck, and we're going to try to give you the best service possible. All I can say from my perspective is I'll be calling you a lot on my cell phone if you have questions, because it's important to me that we take care of you.
But I think reiterating what Keith said, don't wait until the end of your deadline.
Yeah, please.
Because first of all, friends, 31st, we all know where we're gonna be. Guess what? Jason's gonna be at conference just like the rest of you. Don't do that to him. And so give yourself enough leeway that gives him time to call you back. Just help us help you.
You could say as a retirement class that you are in one of the most unique positions that the Susquehanna Conference and the antecedents before it, Wyoming and Central Pennsylvania, have ever found itself in. Jason?
I do also want to mention, we have also been in close communication with Westpath throughout this entire transition. They've known from day one when Kelly announced she was resigning, and we have a call with their director of service management, Ross Lindstrom, and they are looking for ways that they can help additionally over and beyond what they normally do. So Westpath also understands our unique scenario, and they are reaching out to make sure that you are cared for.
The bottom line is that we as a conference will care for one another. That's our commitment to you. That's why I'm here today. Not getting paid except for lunch. And the understanding is I wanted to be here for you, to do my best work. Okay,
If you miss the deadline, does that mean you have to wait for another year? Get insurance?
that is an excellent question, Don. So you're gonna be intentionally missing the deadline.
No.
Okay,
Actually, I've been trying to take care of my insurance question, and it hasn't been taken care of.
okay.
Finally, today it did.
Well, there you go.
I've been way ahead of this, so if it doesn't happen, I just thought, well, what happens if you don't meet the deadline?
Well,
I don't want to find out.
well, and I agree, Don, I agree with Jason. Don't put us in that position because we may have to do things that we don't like.
But I will do everything.
No, I just thought maybe you had to wait for another year and you were just without insurance.
That is one possibility.
Or you go to the marketplace.
Does this have to be done on the phone, or can you go online?
It'll have to be done on the phone because there are specific questions that they're going to have to ask you, and that I don't think you could do it online.
I think there's a portion you can do online through the,
Is it
There.
done?
But I mean with our conference insurance.
with our conference
Yes,
insurance?
yes.
We're gonna need some kind of writing.
Right.
Something in writing that you definitely wanna do it, so, we probably could do most of the communication through email.
I was referring to the VIA benefits.
Okay, I'll get to those.
Can they be done online?
I'll get to that, I promise. Okay, Cheryl.
Where does this form come from?
The form,
Or requesting continued health benefits for under 65. You get that from conference?
okay. Now, let me just go back to those under 65 since I'm on a roll. I'm going to be fully upfront and use me as an example. I'm 57 years old. I can retire tomorrow. Don't start that rumor. I don't have any intentions to retire. But if I did retire, I understand that I have two choices. One, since I'm under 65, I can go with the conference health insurance, paying the full rate of the 6 choices of whatever I choose. Or number 2, I could say, I could do better. If you make option number 2, hear me clearly, hear me distinctly. You cannot come back until you are 65. But Keith, X, Y, and Z, P, D, and Q, A, B, and C, 1, 2, and 3 has happened. I need to come back. I got clarity today, and the clarity all agrees with me. You cannot come back until you are 65. So you need to think very, very, very hard and pray even harder if you make those types of decisions. Okay? All right. Let's talk a little bit about the VIA benefits and see if I can get closer to answering Bob's questions. Now, the understanding about VIA benefits is that we have complied with the discipline. We will give you access to health care. That's what the discipline says we have to do. But we, being the Christians we are, thanks to the generosity of the conference, has allowed us the opportunity to help you resource that access to supplemental retirement health insurance through VIA. Well, Keith, how are we going to do this? What are we going to do and all that? Well, first of all, the understanding is that you are going to be reimbursed. Key word, reimbursed. Because who's going to pay for it first? You are. Good. Glad we got that cleared up. You would be surprised the number of phone calls I get from retirees wanting to know, why did I get this bill? From whichever plan, supplemental plan I took, I said, because you are going to pay for it. Okay, I'm going to pay for it. Yes, you're going to pay for the supplemental to your Medicare yourself. Then you will be reimbursed. Well, how much do I know if I'm going to get? In your packet, there is years of service. Now, years of service are different than years of pension credit. I've been on this board long enough that I know as soon as the workbook is put out and we put pension years with credit, years without credit, total years, we're going to get somebody to call. You do not have to have a full pension credit of 40 years, but you have to have a service credit. I hope and pray you have already looked through your service records. It's a little late if you haven't. I hope and pray that you know that your service records are in order. To use Keith as an example again. Keith is 57 years old. I can leave with 40 years. Don't start the rumor I'm leaving this year. I can leave.
Let's start that rumor.
Thank you, Mary. Thank you, Mary. I could leave. Good. Great. I could leave in 2026. I would have 40 years of service, 39 of pension credit, because appointment to school is a service credit. Not a pension credit unless you paid into it, but it is. Well, I went to seminary and I got ordained a deacon. That's how old I am. In seminary, I got a year of credit. How did I do that? Because I got appointed to go to school. In the 90s, I appealed to the general board of pensions, and I got that year. So based upon your service record, you are going to see an HRA that will go in your category for you and your spouse. Whether you're Steve and Karen or not. For you and your spouse. You don't have to be a clergy couple. If you have 40 years, each of you will receive a reimbursement of $3,000 each to help pay for your supplemental insurance. Well, how much is it going to be? That's why you're going to talk to VIA. How much can you register online? Now, Bob, I'll answer your question. Yes, you can register and get a VIA Access account at the website. But the bottom line is you're going to have to talk with them. And that you can't do this by email, but you can do that. And we're going to do it through an HRA. R meaning reimbursement. So, how does reimbursement work? Well, I want to thank Bob for allowing me to use his computer. We're going to take it for a test spin because I'm going to use Westpath's slides of what an HRA is, and he's coming here right now to help me.
Excuse me,
Yes.
could you just, if you're a clergy couple, you each get that amount, but if you're only one.
No. You do not have to be a clergy couple. You will each get $3,000
You are each over 65.
if you have over 40 years of experience. The table,
Over 40 years, but what if it's under 40 years?
that's all listed on the chart.
Right, but I'm over 65, but
Okay.
less than 40 years, so I'll get just the one amount of money, or?
Correct.
No,
You'll-
you will both get
You get the
whatever
same,
that amount.
right, yeah, you'll get the what, the same account.
It'd be like double.
Well, you'll get a set amount and your spouse will get the same amount.
Wow.
But whatever that amount is based off of your years of service,
Right,
use
I-
that chart. You don't have to have over 40 years for both you and your spouse to
But,
get
but
it.
it's each one of us gets that.
Yes.
Correct.
Thank you.
What year are you in, Joan?
I have 19 and 3/4 years.
Okay, and each of you will get $1,725.
Okay, thank you very much.
Does the spouse get it if the spouse is under 65?
No,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
When the spouse becomes 65,
Yeah.
can they go and get the amount?
Yes. Yes, sir.
I'm not sure if this is an assumption or not. Is this health, is HRA available if you're not using VIA, if you're purchasing your insurance somewhere else?
No.
That's what I thought.
How am I doing? Oh, I got a thumbs up. Okay, I'm gonna talk about HRAs and I'm gonna do a clicker, and so we'll see where we go out. Please, talk to me if you need to. See, Bob, they're excited to talk to me there, and they're a lively bunch this afternoon, and that. Okay, you're gonna get an HRA, you're gonna get it through Watson Towers via benefits. You must be actively, let me go back. You must be actively selected a plan to be enrolled. If you don't select a plan by June 30th, you don't have access to the HRA.
So this is different, friends, than when Keith and I went on the tour to
Right.
healthcare earlier this year, right? And we said, if you fail to make a selection, we'll make a selection for you. This is what it's gonna be. Your selection will be nothing. Like, you have to make a selection.
Right. So let's take a look at what an HRA, or RA is. Okay? Or not. Well,
I have another comparison question.
okay, go ahead.
Is an HRA is helping to cover the cost of the plan. It's not like a flexible reimbursement account.
That's correct. Okay, great. Okay, let's take a look at it very quickly. An HRA is tax advantage accounts funded by the conference for both you and a spouse if eligible. For you and a spouse if eligible, okay? Dependents? No. Available January 1st, prorated if it's in a mid-year enrollment. Okay, if you have over 40 years and each of you get $3,000 for a year, how much will you get for the rest of this year? $3,000. If you get 3,000, that's 6,000 divided by 2 is 3,000 for the rest of the year. You will use that to reimburse your health expenses, including your answer, ma'am. The share of your medical bills and your premiums. Can you use it to pay medical bills? Yes. Is it the intent that you pay your medical bills first, then your premium? Your choice. Think long and hard before you make that choice. Okay? Think long and hard about that. Okay, we move on. You can see that VIA continues to be a large provider. You can also see that it makes a lot of objective information. You can see how it's done, and you can see how it's senior incentive. Bob and I like to have a little chat about this. It's annual, besides our understanding of Mr. Met, and that is that he reminds me that the people who will work with you have clarity because they are rooted in this country, in their speech. So you should understand that going in. Now, if you work with me, I have a West Virginia dialect, but you've all lived through that for years. So what will happen? Here's what will happen. You will call VIA, you will set up a time for appointment. You will select one of 10 plans that are supplemental plans. You may also select drug policies as well, medications policies as well. You will get all that done, and then you'll get a bill. Then you will pay the bill. Then, Bob, you will go online, or you will mail the bill. Encourage you to please do reimbursement, by direct deposit. It will happen quicker than the other things. Questions?
Who do you send the bill to?
Well, you'll send it to VIA. They'll give you the address when you call them. And they'll set that up during your interview time.
Oh, I thought VIA will bill us?
No. The people you select will bill you.
Bill us, and then we send the bill to VIA.
Correct.
Then VIA gets you your.
Got other questions?
Yes, the HRA amount, is that based on calendar year or conference year?
That is based on calendar year as I understand it. So it will not go from June 30th to June 30th. It'll go from July 1st to December, and then it will reload on the understanding of January 1st.
So then, as we enter retirement, we be entitled to 50%.
Correct.
of the amount. Okay.
Yep, as I said before, if you have over 40 years and you both would get $6,000 in a regular calendar year, what can you expect this year? $3,000. Good, I love this conversation. Dawn,
What if you turn 65 partway through the year?
Good question, Don.
that is an excellent question. Then when you get onto VIA benefits, first of all, you will have to, for a window of time, like say it's in September. For a window of time, you're either going to be on the conference insurance or another insurance. Then when you contact VIA, then you'll be on the supplemental plan. And if you're on September, as I understand it, that's a quarter. My math still good? Then you would get a quarter of that benefit, do you? For that quarter. Then the full benefit the year after. Okay?
And should you contact them about a month ahead of time, or 2 months? or-
Oh, I would contact them at least a month and a half ahead of time.
Okay.
And that. Okay.
I'll be your best friend.
Okay. Other questions? All right, we continue. Okay, why are the plans so attractive that we have set up with VIA? First of all, they're your choice. Second of all, the flexibility. Third of all, cost effectiveness. And fourth of all, it gives sustainability for the conference. We know what we're going to pay for retirees. Moving forward, that is important, that we know that. As I told you, there are 10 plans that are with as a Medicare supplement. What plan is right for you? Don't have a clue. But your VIA representative will have a clue because they will interview you intensively to find out what it will work best. Do they have a vested interest? No, they do not. Their vested interest is to plug you in with the right care because they are not salespeople. Okay? So they have a vested interest. They will compare prices, they will list specific extra benefits, and there will be more of an opportunity to move forward. You can see all the types of things that VIA does and how they move forward, including medical, including dental, including vision. And you can see their sponsorships, that we have throughout. Then you can also see why this gives stability, because the more people you have in a pool, the stabler your prices are. Okay, I appreciate that. I went through the Westpac understanding of VIA. I'll take a deep breath while I get my next set of papers out to see if you have any questions.
I have a question.
Okay.
We're enrolled in set up for Medicare and Medicaid to start July 1.
Okay.
So that's all in place already. So when I call VIA and tell them that, they're gonna work with that, right?
Yeah.
Because you have a sentence here, you must be enrolled in Medicare Part B to enroll with VIA benefits.
You have to be involved in B.
Right, so as long as I tell them that it's gonna start July 1,
Right.
they'll accept that, right?
Yeah, I'm getting 2 nods in the back of the room. Yes.
Okay.
As way I understand it as well. Sure.
If you're enrolling with conference under 65, I turn 65 next March.
Okay.
So we'll have
Congratulations.
to sign up for another year on the conference insurance to get mid-February, January, February.
That will be prorated to that. You won't pay for a full year.
So I would have to start paying probably through March?
Right?
Through the month that you turn 65.
Yeah, through March, okay. And then I'd have to have VIA set up before that to
Right.
take over.
Right. And they'll cover 3/4 of the cost for that year,
Okay,
since you entered into it in March.
okay.
Okay.
Um,
Yes, Eugene.
My wife works for Penn State,
Does she?
yeah, and I'm on her insurance at this point.
Uh-huh.
But we've looked at going to a Medigap or Medicare Advantage plan,
Okay.
and we would like to go to the Blues, since Penn State went to another company that's a bit of a pain. Am I understanding correctly that we could go, I have, by June 30th, I've got to go to VIA Benefits and basically say, yeah, I'm gonna work with you folks,
I'm gonna interrupt.
okay?
You are, I think I know what your appointment is. I think you need to talk to Jason.
Okay, we'll do,
Because you have a very specific, situation.
okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't get to answer that one, Eugene, so because you're special. And that. Okay, good conversation. Any other questions? Okay, as we look through the understanding of VIA, I just want to bring out some other points of clarification for you, and I want to continue to help you understand. You will choose from one of 10 policies. In that selection, it's what's best for you. Now, if you're wondering where I'm talking about, you don't have these sheets, so relax. The understanding is that you have to be proactive in making choices that are effective and fruitful for your supplement. You have to decide whether you will have pharmaceutical. That's a separate coverage. You must pay B. That's another place where retirees slip up. Because they said, well, you mean I have to pay the federal government for Plan B? Yes. I call that an entry fee. In order to have a supplemental insurance given to you as much as we can with supplements, you still have to pay the deduction from the government for Part B insurance. Okay? All right. The other understandings are that as you continue to work through this time, you will find new opportunities to evaluate. Now, can I change my policy after a year? The answer is, you can. You can call VIA. The other challenge is if you switch from one supplemental policy to another supplemental policy, you can open yourself up for conversation within the new policy. I have no idea what that will look like because I am not the federal government. But you could open yourself up to that. Just be alert and aware, but you can do that. Okay. Want to just continue to remind you that what would be too much, too little? I would suspect, and VIA has this on their website, and it's on Westpath's website, that you have to think seriously that you're going to pay about what you're paying now for health insurance on your own. Forget the church supplement. Using Keith as an example, only as one example, okay? I'm with the PPO plan. I have to pay $462 a month. Somebody will be really smart and tell me what that is over 12 months. That's a little less than $6,000. When you get a supplement for you and your spouse, you will probably be in that neighborhood. That's not unusual. You can be higher or lower. You can pick any plan you want. You just only have so much that the conference will give to you as a capped understanding. As we move through the other things that I want to share with you, and that is that I've gone over that, and VIA is always available to you to get you through the process. Folks, we're not trying to set booby traps or hurdles. As much as you use VIA, they can help you through the process and answer all your questions. They will continue to do that for the rest of your lifetime. And in that is a way to move in a dynamic way so that you can have the best health care, because that's our goal, is for you to have the very best health care that you can have. I'll take a deep breath and see if I can answer other questions.
I have a question.
Sure, Steve.
And my wife and I have always been, one of us has been full-time from the beginning, but, so we've always been covered by the conference health plan.
Okay.
But suppose I decide, now she's going on Medicare, and I said, no, I really don't want to be full-time till I retire. I'd really like to go part-time, but I gotta take care of my own health insurance now. Do I do anything with the conference at all, or I just go on and talk to whoever there and get my own health plan?
Steve, let's answer that question because it's a conversation we've been having back here. Friends, you are only eligible to be on this HRA program that we've been talking about if you are currently covered by the conference health insurance. So that may sway what you're doing then, Steve, right? So if you go less than full time, then when it comes to your time to retire, you won't get, well, you would get Karen's HRA but you're in a unique situation. But for everyone else in the room, you only get the HRA if you are currently covered by a conference health insurance plan. Steve, and you, if you went less than full-time, we can have that conversation with you about that.
Right, because it will be a different, conversation.
Wait, hold on.
Light bulb went on. Good man.
Now, for VIA benefits, I'm reading right off the paper, can I have my premium deducted from my pension check? The answer is no, because it wouldn't be a reimbursement plan. And for federal tax purposes, you must have to pay the premium. You cannot have it deducted.
So then it's not taxable then?
The,
The money that we get from HRA is not taxable.
I'll turn to three heads smarter than I am about that. Can the supplement be A, taxable, or B, can it be deducted?
It can't be.
We can get back to you.
Okay, we're gonna get back to you. Yes?
If you have it deducted from your retirement, can you change that and say, I want to pay it and not, how easy is it to stop being deducted?
Okay, for VIA,
Well,
for VIA, back to conference insurance, you can have it deducted from your pension, or you can have billing. I will now turn to the conference director to tell me how easy that would be if you make that choice in mid-year.
I'm sorry, give me one more time, I was looking something up. If you make
Say
the
in
choice to-
January, I don't want to go off so I can have control of January.
Right. If I, Jason, decided in my retirement that I was going to have it deducted from my pension check, and then mid-year I decide, oy vey, I want to change my mind and have you bill me.
Okay?
What is the difficulty in that?
Some paperwork.
Okay.
I don't know how long the turnover is, it might take, you know, a total of a month to correct the billing, but. It's just paperwork.
Okay. All right. Any other questions? Well, folks, really, I've covered a lot of ground with you. Now, there was some ground I intentionally didn't cover because I don't know if you want Medigap insurance. I don't know if you want Medicaid Advantage. I don't know that. Your interviewer and you will come up with that. I didn't feel I needed to spend the time with the 10 plans.
Are
Be-
these plans online somewhere so that we can look at them before we get into the interview?
I don't know, Bob, are they online, the 10?
You'll get great communications from VIA benefits.
Right.
And they're available online. They have a great website and some really great communication pieces that they'll send you out as well.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay, are there other questions? Now, here's the shaky part, folks, the one that I shake my hands about. I turn to the Brain Trust in the back. Do they have any questions of things that I didn't cover, that they would like answered, that they would like fulfillment about, to know?
No, I think I'm good.
I wrote down a dozen questions to ask of Westpath tomorrow.
Okay. Okay, well, hey, if it's not for me, that's good. That's why Westpath is really good. Are there any other questions? Okay, then I'll close with, because I know that you'll be happy if I get you out of here by 2 o'clock. So let me just close with some ending thoughts. Doris Day once wrote, "The future is not ours to see." I can't tell you what the future is going to be. What I will encourage you to understand is, what's the name of our retirement center? Westpath. Why is it named Westpath? Because it follows in the footsteps of Wesley. And Wesley had an understanding of finances and health insurance before there was an understanding. And that is this. I bet good United Methodist ministers can hear this. Give all you can.
Earn all you can, save all you can.
That's your strategy in retirement. Give all you can. Earn all you can. But most importantly, save all you can. Because the bottom line is, we give you access, we give you resources. Did you hear me guarantee anything? See, that's been the problem within our conference, is that sometimes we have made words of guaranteeing, and Michelle is watching me with a very short stick that we don't make promises. So we'll talk, conceptually. When you retire, you should be saving. If you don't have an HSA, you have a bank account. You should be putting monies back.
I do have something else I need you to talk about.
Okay.
Can you clarify about if you have an FSA?
Oh, yes, I'd be happy to. Oh, thank you, Michelle, for that. Okay. How many, do any one of you have an FSA?
From the conference.
From the conference? Okay. Well, I could turn to this side of the room, but I'll talk to all of you. If you have an FSA with the conference, now did you all know that retirement is an appointment?
Yep.
Thank you. You will be going into a new appointment. And in that new appointment, your FSA card on July 1st will go blank. Well, I've had expenses. What do? I can't use my card. I can't zip it down and pay my bills. What do you mean it's going to go blank? If you have expenses during July or during June 30th from January 1st and you've not settled that, you have to settle it by paper with Workforce. Because after July 1st, you won't have a card. Well, that's really hard, isn't it? Well, you didn't pay into it. Well, I heard many times about all kinds of other stuff. Well, let me help you clarify that, because the chair wanted me to clarify that.
But if you've spent it all already,
Yes, you're right. Go ahead,
I
Marion.
don't have to pay any extra after July 1.
That's
That is
correct.
correct, Marion.
That is correct.
Woo-hoo!
That is correct. So if you have a card, this is what I call, and he'll love this, hi camera, he'll love this, because this is the Gene Liddick question. Is it ethical for me to be given a card
Yes,
that's
it is.
fully reimbursed and I spend it in 6 months?
Yes, it is. Marion says.
You have the superintendent's authority to go and do.
It's your perk.
It's your perk.
It's your perk.
We
Use
don't
it.
want to say the word gift, though. I'll
No,
get in
it's a
trouble.
perk.
I'll get in trouble if I say the word gift. They've already told me they're yanking on, I can feel it spiritually on my neck.
So if you have a few $100s or a few $1,000s left and you need glasses,
Right.
dental work,
Good.
a new CPAP machine.
Yeah, there you go.
what? Get
Cool.
it before the end of June.
Cool sculpting?
I don't know if this sculpting works or not.
I'm just kidding. But yeah, but you have to use it. Now, an HSA, Health Savings Account, you always will have that for the rest of your life. In fact, what we'll tell the 5 years to retirement and the younger in years clergy is that they should get an HSA and start putting money into it now, because that will always be yours. You mean I could have paid my premiums with an HSA account? You sure could have. You sure could have. Are there any other questions? Cheryl? See, I love this, Bob. Go ahead, Cheryl.
Yeah, when we, after July 1st, if we're keeping the conference insurance, is it the same plan? I mean, say I paid the $5,000 out of pocket for the year already.
Okay.
So I still have that paid after July.
You paid the whole,
I mean, I've already
You don't have to reset your
I don't,
deductible.
I'm
Right.
not resetting my deductible.
Right.
So at least at the end of the year, I've got everything paid.
Right. Yeah, if you've written off a check, that I wouldn't know that. Jason and the finance office would know that if Cheryl,
It was a bad January.
if Cheryl wrote that off. So they're conferring, but yeah, I would understand that, you know.
So they, go ahead, Bob.
Oh, yeah, just to double back on the question, in this communication piece, convey benefits.
Why don't you come to the microphone, that way everybody's gonna hear you. I'm willing to share.
Just a question had come up about the taxation. Is this on?
He's been standing in front of it.
I think our battery might be out, but it says, what is an HRA? An HRA is an account that is used to reimburse you for eligible healthcare expenses on a tax-free basis. Under existing Internal Revenue Service regulations, HRA reimbursements are not taxable. So that's how it's treated. I think.
Cheryl, we'll double back to your
There you go.
question, because I
It's on.
think there's two different things going on. One, if you wanna keep whatever plan you have, you 100% can, but you are not obligated to. So this is like a one time that we're gonna let you switch mid-year. If you wanna go from PPO to a CDHP plan, you could. But I think what you're saying is you've met your deductible, right?
Yeah, I've got my out pocket for the
You
year.
met your out of pocket for the year, but you'll still owe on the premium. Because
Yes.
out of pocket and premium are two different
Oh, yeah.
things. Excellent.
No
Yeah,
problem.
then we're all good.
Okay, good.
One
Mary.
question about applying for the social security and that kind of stuff that Doug asked me last week.
Okay.
When you're filling out the part that says, how many years with current employer? Does that mean your current appointment or your number of years with the conference?
I'll turn to Mr. Matt.
Anybody?
And that, I would go, if you apply for social or Medicare and you're asked numbers of years with your employer, are they to put the full 40 or the total number or the total number of their current appointment?
Or doesn't it matter?
Or does,
I would check with your salary paying, or your tax advisor.
Yeah.
But because your W-2 comes from your appointment, not the well, yours comes from the conference, but it comes from your appointment, I think that's considered to be your current employer, and so it would only be after age.
okay,
Okay,
No,
Doug?
Karen's shaking her head no.
Hopefully, right?
all right.
Thank you.
Are there other questions?
Yeah, your insurance comes from a conference, so you better check with your tax person. Because we straddle that so delicately.
Yeah. It's
Doug, was that on social security or was that on Medicare B?
B.
B.
I
Really
would,
doesn't matter a whole lot.
no, I don't think it'll be a high priority for the
I
government.
think all they're trying to do is show that you
We're employed.
were employed and had insurance.
They're gonna pay on your highest quarters anyway.
And, right,
Right.
yeah, that has.
Right. And you have to have 10 of them in order to, yeah. Okay. Are there others? Well, my sisters and brothers, it's been my privilege. I thank the Brain Trust in the back who have kept me straight and that. I thank Tom for letting me use his PowerPoint presentation. And I'm ready to close in a word of prayer unless you have other questions for me. It has been a joy to be with you. Here's what I hope for your appointment. I hope that your appointment to retirement will be long, filled with joy, grace, peace, love, good health, and know with the full knowledge that God will walk with you during your new appointment. I thank you for the opportunity. It's been a privilege to be before you, and by the grace of God and with the help of friends and colleagues, we hope we've done the very best for you to make the good decisions. Now, I will use the same rule that I've used at council meetings. I will be in this room until you leave. If you have questions or comments, if you just want to tell the brain trust, gosh, don't ever have him back again, or anything else that you need to do, it's okay with me. But we're here to help you. This is your day. This is your movement into a new appointment. We want to be the best help we can be so that you have the best life you can have. Unless there's any other questions, may I pray a prayer of blessing for you? Gracious and holy Lord, you have called these servants to do your work in ministry. Some you have called to the formalized ministry within the United Methodist Church, and others you have called to be in their specialized ministries as spouses to where you would have them to be. What a privilege it is to be with them this day. As I ask for discernment in my opening prayer, I ask for blessings upon each person here, that you would give them the very best opportunity to know how to move forward with VIA, to know what the plan will be for their health supplement, and to give them discernment about the future that only you know. Bless all with traveling mercies, love, joy, and in these closing days of their ministry, in the active ministry, may they finish well, because it is well with you. In Christ's name, amen.